Ideology of Madness. You probably know Kyle.
Oh,
Big bushy beard.
yeah.
So he told me about the cat picture thing. so you got to tell the cat picture story a little bit.
Okay.
How the cat picture got
The real quick cat picture story was, we filmed Halloween, and we're trying to make it as authentic as possible. And I'm on the Twitter feed one night, this is about 3 weeks ago, and I see this picture come up. And I can't remember the exact tweet, but it said, "This picture better be in the maze." This painting. It's a painting of this cat. So I went back to the movie and went like, oh wow, no, that is in the maze. And that is in the movie. We don't have that currently in the maze. So I got with our team and I showed them the picture from the Twitter feed. I said, we either have to find this or something very similar and put it on that wall. So it's the fans helping us create, making sure it's the most authentic maze possible.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I mean, it's so you popped Halloween in that a couple times. Well, once. I mean, it was in the
All Night Dining.
All Night Dining.
Yeah, very, very small.
A piece of the whole. So, like, what inspired you to get a whole Halloween house this year?
Because it was completely for selfish reasons. It's my favorite Halloween movie of all time. And we've never done it in a way we know we can. Tell the entire story from beginning to end. Show young Myers, end it with him in this, shooting him six times, showing all of that, everything in between, and producing a really authentic Halloween maze that places you in that '78 film. Because it's iconic. It's the first slasher film that began the genre, and in my opinion, no one's been able to do it better since. So selfishly, it was just because I really wanted to see it.
That's awesome.
But I think also too, there's a huge fan base that also wants to as well.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm excited to see it.
It works. It really does. It's a simple maze, but very effective. And I think that is also the film. The film is very simplistic. It's about style and tone, and atmosphere and tension, and not knowing where he's going to come from next. He's the shape. That's why it's called the shape. He could be in front of you, behind you. So we really kind of attached to that ideology and created the maze. We're really happy with the product.
So you have 3 original houses, 3 original property houses. You got Giggles and Gore, you got the Roanoke Cannibal Colony, and the name of
Dollhouse of the Damned.
Dollhouse of the Damned. So out of the 3, I mean, so what's the one you're most passionate about? What do you think the guys are most passionate about?
Dollhouse of the Damned, I think, is one we're really proud of. Just because it is, I think, one of the creepier mazes we've done in a long time. And the fact is the process was fun. It was just us sitting around a table trying to come up with the most morbid and aesthetically unpleasing doll visuals that we could possibly think of. I mean, the one great aspect of the maze that I love is that, walking through and you can really see the wallpaper has been ripped away. You can see the construction of the house, and it's been made of doll parts. That's the brick and mortar of the maze. That was just, again, tiny detail, but we really like that aspect. And of course, designing all these really creepy looking dolls. We've got, baby dolls, we've got porcelain dolls, we've got marionettes. They're creepy by themselves. Just a room full of dolls is creepy just by itself. But then adding the textures that we know we can do just takes it to a level beyond, I think, what people are expecting.
Okay, Alien vs. Predator, also another huge fan favorite. How did you guys go about it? How did it come about?
AVP was the one brand going into, even before we started the process, that we wanted to try and tackle. And only because we learned so much from An American Werewolf last year. It was the first maze we ever done that wasn't a person in a costume doing an active scare. And that was just by the logistics of the werewolf. If we were going to do it, we had to do it differently. So learning from that a lot, we decided we were going to take that idea and apply it to how we were going to produce the aliens. So there's one box check. Okay, we kind of know how that works. Predators, want to make sure that they're alive. They're the active aggressor in the maze, the one that's in real life, full, right there in front of the guests. Making sure that costume is as realistic as possible. That the skin is correct, the armor is correct. That he's got the laser sight. All that has to be in there. The size is also casting was very intricate in that. We didn't want people walking through with a predator that's my height. I'm 6'2", I'm fairly tall, but predators are taller than me. We needed 6'6" guys, we needed 6'9" guys. We found them. They're in the maze, and they're literally walls. When they come out, it's like a wall of a predator right in front of you, and he's roaring. It's right there. Aesthetics for that maze were also a challenge because it's so layered. Deciding what story you want to tell as well. It's Alien vs. Predator, but we also wanted to make sure that we were checking boxes off of fans of Alien and Predator. So there are some homages to many of the films that fall into that brand in one maze. And Fox was very open to that, and allowed us to kind of make sure we're providing fans of the brand what we know they're going to want to see. So there's surprises in it.
How about 5 things that you hope that people get to see? Maybe 5 things that you're most proud of,
Okay.
and/or hidden gems.
Yeah.
5 things.
Okay. I'll reveal a possible Easter egg that no one has found yet, even in a preview. When you go through Walking Dead and you go through Terminus, look around. There's some Easter eggs in there. There's one little item. Okay. Halloween, again, extremely proud of. I think it's a very solid, authentic retelling of that film, that original movie. Down to the score, the look of Myers, the environments, the kills are all just as inventive as they were in that movie. We're proud of Walking Dead. That was a huge challenge. We've never done a brand 3 times consecutively.
Right.
So first thing was, how are we going to present it differently? The series offered a lot of environments. Season 4, just by nature of how they constructed the story, offered a lot of different environments. That was great. But then we wanted to do more. We wanted to make sure that if the guests are going to come through for a third time, that they can spend some more time with the brand as well. So making it the longest maze that we've ever built. It is literally double the length of a typical maze. It is, we've got 60 plus actors at a time in that maze. So it is massive. The environments are massive. The big spot is a supermarket. Typically we'll do, we do an environment like that. It's usually you're in an aisle. Maybe there are some mirrors that give the look that it's more expansive than it actually is. But no, you go in the big spot, it's a supermarket. It's immense. There's a helicopter caving through the ceiling, a military helicopter. It's massive. So proud of that. And 4 or 5.
How about something that maybe people might miss, but you're hoping that you really put your heart and soul into this, and you're hoping that people see it?
There's a lot of little details, like in AVP when you walk into the lab, I'll look over at the TVs because we have the infrared. We got a Predator helmet up there with an infrared, so you can see yourself in infrared, just like the Predator does. In AVP also too, kind of a subtle detail is you'll see him with his camo. The invisibility camo that he employs, you'll see that in the maze as you go down a corridor. In Walking Dead, this is ridiculous, but when we watched the show, it was like, why is that there? That's so odd. There is a pink in the episode where Daryl and Beth find the moonshine shack. There's a pink bra ashtray.
PRA?
What's that? Bra.
PRA.
Yeah, it's a pink bra that is plastic and it's an ashtray. Okay. We had no idea what that was. We're like, put that in. Because it's just this odd detail. So it's in there. You'll see it. It's on your right-hand side when you walk through the burning shack. There's tons of details, but yeah, those are a few.
Great, perfect.
I'm gonna give you the boring professional question, but obviously it's your job to build these houses. Every year you build it, you try to be creative, beat the previous year. What's the lesson you learned this time around that you'll take into next year?
Well, and I think one ideology too is that we try as a team to keep in our brains, because if you go into any creative aspect, and this is more of a global thing, trying to beat what you did, that's not always the best tact. What we try and do is when we're on day 1 of the event, learning from what we did the previous year. If there were challenges that happened during the event, we're learning from those things. If things worked, we're cataloging those things. But also too, we really try and go in with a clean slate in those first few weeks of what we're going to make the next year's event. And not trying to outdo it, but making sure that we're just doing things differently. We're offering different aesthetics, different characters. And that's also one thing that I think one reason why Halloween Horror Nights has kind of set itself apart from other still very good Halloween events is that we're not repeating our concept every year. We are doing different environments, different characters every single year. And if that's the main thing we try and go into, that's the job that we're doing. Is that we're able to offer the guests that's going to pay good money to come to this event. They're going to see something very different than they did the year before.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you very much.